Chris, yesterday I lived a man's dream, and it was also one of my dreams. I did something I have thought about doing since 1995, and it finally happened.
Did you parachute?
Doom 1 LAN party.
Oh. Thanks, Mark.
It was fucking awesome. It was in Mark's basement. He bought or inherited or got a big thing of PCB that has virtual computers inside of it.
Yeah.
And he created a bunch of virtual machines that we all brought our laptops and tapped into, and we all played Doom together.
Was it awesome?
It was pretty fucking cool.
Cool.
For a game that you can't look up or around, and it's very simple, but to see another Doom guy running around.
Yeah.
It'd be like PvPvE, all running around, shooting each other, blowing up the cyber demon. Took us a half hour to kill that thing with pistols. Oh man, it was good. And then we played Hexen, which sucks.
You don't like Hexen?
No.
Multiplayer Hexen sucks?
It wasn't as good as Doom.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I've played multiplayer Hexen.
Too much of an abstraction.
I've played Hexen over dial-up, motherfucker.
Oh, God.
Well, thanks, Mark. I didn't get home until like 6:30ish, and I was like, I can't.
Once the shoes are off, you can't put them back on.
Do you remember doing more than one thing in a day?
Yeah, I don't have kids, so I can still do that.
Yeah, want to hear some hot sounds that I recorded? All right. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast discussing classic role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back to Season 5, Episode 17, where we are in the middle of the Cathedral ship in Xenosaga, Episode 1, Der Will zur Macht. My name is Chris, and I'm joined by Eric. Hi.
My name's Eric. I also will to power this podcast.
In person, in the basement, with me here is Eric, by the way.
Studio, please.
Yeah, thebasementstudio.com. And as always, we are joined on a nice, beautiful Sunday afternoon by the RealNet, a collective of patrons who are watching us record live. Hello.
Watching us?
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
The watching. Come do a watching with the RealNet at patreon.com/retroam.
We're also joined by the FakeNet, our post-production AI companion who's responsible for building the wacky workbench in Sonic CD.
Initializing FakeNet.
Metal Sonic is awesome, and I am also awesome, so I must make myself into Metal Sonic. And the boys can be Pregnant Sonic, and we can be a family.
Wow, I don't know what that is, and I don't want to know what it is, so no further discussion.
Nope, we're not talking about Sonic CD today. We're going to talk about the Cathedral ship, which is where we're going back to.
Yeah, the guts. Let's walk on the guts.
Music, nothing, just those undulations. We pass by a sunken Ariadne shopping center sign, and I find a neurostim. Do you think the neurostim is the shit that Trankov had, like in universe?
Oh, neurostim. You probably, yeah.
Like his injection device?
Yeah, that's not the dig. No, the dig B is what puts you to sleep, puts you in a coma.
Right.
Okay.
You must survive. I fight some more enemies here.
Yeah?
Got a fairy.
Bug Pokemon bodied?
Scyther-esque.
Yeah, they absorb lightning, which is unfortunate because I've got a lot of characters with lightning attacks, but we can work around that.
They do a Will-o'-the-Wisp magic attack.
Yeah, they will also use the Voice of Sorrow to put you to sleep, which is quite obnoxious, but I don't like fighting them.
They shoot lightning. There's also 5 of them in one battle, and my shit keeps missing them. These guys have a high dodge stat thing. That's all I fought in this area.
Did you see a blob? That was a car.
A car blob?
There's a car.
No, I didn't see that.
There was just a car that was blobbed up with the Gnosis blob.
Is it the same art asset that was in the car in the opening Encephalon dive?
I don't think so.
Somebody made more than one car for this game, confirmed.
Yeah. Did you work your way behind the fish billboard?
Is that where the Revive DX was?
No.
Or is that where the fire code was?
Yes.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Code of fire.
Also back here, when you're behind the fish billboard, if you walk to the edge of the cliff, did you do this?
It's possible.
It looks like a cliff where Surge was buried.
Oh, from Chrono Cross.
Yeah. What was that cape called?
Cape Howell.
Cape Howell, yeah. It's kind of like that, but the perspective is more at the character's back. And you can see the Ariande silo-looking buildings in the background.
Oh, okay.
And there's also a really interesting, I want to call it a tilt effect, but it's more of a whooshy-woozy effect. It's like the screen is slightly tilting to the left very slowly, but it never actually... Have you ever seen a clock that is stuck where the second hand ticks like 10 ticks and then goes back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
it's
doing
like
that shit.
the effect of the screen moving is sort of like that, but it's extremely slow.
Great comparison.
It's a real subtle thing. Yeah, I remember when I was on anesthesia when I got a colonoscopy, staring at a clock doing that for a while.
Okay, that's a great thing to focus on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Next
I'll
thing
do
I
that when
knew,
put things in my own butt.
yeah. Good.
So I'm like, man, we really are just back in the hallways. Next screen, blew up a door, climbed a ladder, leads to a facade with a cure-all, revive, and a revive DX.
Can we talk about PS2 ladder controls?
Sure.
When I say PS2 ladder controls, do you know what I mean?
I have no idea.
When you're moving right on the screen and you start to go up a ladder and you're holding right, then you let go of the analog stick and then you press up. You go down, and it never fucking works.
Yeah, it doesn't reorientate the direction.
How many generations did it take us to get that correct?
I don't know that it's still correct in some games, especially games that have tank controls.
Yeah, interesting.
It sucks.
Just want to know if you had the same feelings about PS2 ladder controls as me.
I mean, I kind of play more retro games than you, so these things are normalized in my brain most of the time. There's also an elevator down here, which it's very funny that this still has power and works. So did you get the secret Momo shit on the next screen?
Dripping. You forgot the dripping.
The drip?
There's dripping. There's just dripping from the ceiling. There's just drips.
Drip it all over me. I'm going to look up, you drip right in my eye, okay?
Yeah. Secret Momo shit? No.
If you set Momo as the lead character, then examine the glowy blue thing on the roof, you'll find battle armor exclusively for 100 series observational unit.
Oh, no shit.
You can learn an exclusive tech attack, magic caster, and the ether, Starwind.
Oh.
Looks like somebody's going back in the Encephalon dive in the Cathedral ship, Chris.
Mystic power, grant me a miracle.
Don't worry, you'll have to open up some segment doors anyway.
Okay.
I blow shit up to make a bridge to Zohar Zasik, one of the optional mini-bosses here. Did you fight that fucking thing?
Yes, Eric, I fought that thing. He looks like those Gnosis that were on the Waglinde, but he's a different color,
Yeah,
right?
they've palette swapped him. He's crimson and black this
Yeah.
time.
I looked up that name, and actually the names of all of these three mini-bosses that are in this level,
Yeah.
and they are all Slavic gods.
Cool. I'm glad we're getting some Slavic deities in there. He does Heat Wave, Fire Attack. Dude's very fast and boosts a lot, but I beat him and get a Tech Upgrade Z.
Cool.
There's also a tuned circuit in the chest behind him. You can sell that for money. Fought one more enemy around here, the Ogre. It's a large blue, yellow, green sun.
Yeah, a large hulking Gnosis, bloated, low-poly, naked Shrek.
That's good. Yeah, Naked Shrek. I think about that a lot, actually. I'm surprised it didn't come to front of mind.
Close, I guess.
I pass a waterfall on my way to the next screen. Then finally, I find a save point on the 5th screen, right before the entrance to a mall.
Yes, this save point is called the mall when you go into the thing.
I go in the mall. It's a damn-ass mall. I find a display with floating blue 3D diamonds.
Yeah, when you enter the mall, there is a bunch of monitors that they look like they are the things at the airport that tell you if your flight's going to be delayed.
Oh, right, the depression wall. Right.
Yeah, except for they're all neon and translucent.
You gotta know where I'm going in the mall. I find the path blocked by a black and blue big boy, Perun.
Yes, also a Slavic god.
My guy does Thunder Crusher and fucking wails on Shion.
He also has an attack called the Zeus Cannon, which is from Final Fantasy The Spirits Within.
That's true, Chris.
Yes.
Made by the Zeus Society.
Also true.
Fucking shit, Spell Ray heals his ass. Fuck me. Arblade, though, takes his ass apart. Sometimes it opens its yellow dick piss pouch to fire things at Shion.
Yeah.
Afterward, I enter the plant shop. It's called Cost Mary.
Costmary.
Cost Mary.
And I get in a fight with 5 hydras, which are green and orange plants. You guys talk about Cost Mary?
Yeah, I was just going to say Costmary it appears to be like a potted plant store.
Cost Mary, did you Google Cost Mary?
No.
It's a thing in real life. It's an herb, also called Bible leaf. The English name Cost Mary stems from Costus of St. Mary. In other languages, it's associated with the Virgin Mary, most probably because it is sometimes used to treat women's diseases.
That's weird.
There's always a reason everything is called everything.
Yeah, so the fish means something.
Yeah, we have to decodethefish.com. Did you get anything in Cost Mary? There's some shit in here.
Yeah, after I killed the Hydra, which, by the way, took a long time to kill.
Uh-huh.
Because they guard a lot,
Yeah.
I think. And I found a Decoder 15.
That's right.
And also back here on the table, we find the flower seed, which I think we can use for that one side quest.
We give to Ludi at the dot column.
Yeah, because she's from this planet that disappeared. And when you told me before that we could get the flower seeds, I was like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense because the planet's gone. But now I know the planet's not gone. It's inside the whale.
That's right. We can get the whale back.
Is the whale some biblical imagery? The Jonas whale? Are we inside the Jonas whale? Didn't Jonas get eaten by fish or whale? Jonas. My name is Jonas.
Yeah.
Jonah.
Rivers.
Yeah.
I get Jonah confused with Geppetto a whole lot
It's
as far as
definitely-
people who have been eaten by whales.
Yeah. I watched one of those videos about those like religious grifters who trick old people and give them money, and then they buy lots of shit, like those guys that love.
Oh, like Jim Baker, shit like that. The Kenneth Copeland, all the mega Joel Osteen motherfucker.
Yes, it was one of those motherfuckers, and I watched a video about him explaining how he died and went to heaven, and he met Jonah, and he asked him about being in a fish.
Oh, okay, and he got exclusive Jonah fish knowledge from heaven.
Yes,
that's what I would add. That's the first person I would run into up there too.
Yes.
Chris, unfortunately, I'm not done talking about Cosmary because there's an additional line of information on the next page of my notes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you know in the 17th century, it was said to provoke urine abundantly and softens the hardness of the mother?
Urine? You say urine?
Yeah, provoke urine abundantly. It would make you piss and would also soften the hardness of the mother. And Chris, I ask you, what kind of mother hardness do you wish would soften?
Soften the hardness of the mother?
I think soften hardness would mean make her not, put her at ease. Put the worrying woman at ease.
Oh, okay.
Soften the mother's hardness.
So what type of mother's hardness would I soften?
Yeah, what kind of hardness do you think would soften from any
Do
mother
I have to use it on my own mother?
Any mother you know.
Okay.
What kind of mother hardness do you want to soften?
Okay, can I use it on the mother of my children?
That's your wife, yeah.
Okay. I would use it to make her not always think I'm going to run into the back of a car when I'm driving.
Okay, yeah, that is some
She always thinks I'm going to rear end somebody. For some
are
reason.
you like a late breaker type guy?
No, I'm not. I'm not a late breaker type of guy. I am the kind of guy that when I need to slow down, I don't immediately press the brakes if I don't need to. I just let the car kind of slow down on its own,
right,
so I can preserve
brakes last longer that way.
Preserve the efficacy of my brakes.
You're fucking thinking, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that is what triggers that.
Right.
I'm not really sure.
So father's hardness is to not soften the brakes.
Yeah. Also, my car now just fucking beeps if I need to brake. So
that's scary that we have to have invented that for people to slow down. Fucking wake up, dude! Brake.
Sometimes it just does it.
I passed by what is clearly some kind of crane drill game for later, but it's not. Later, I find this observation incorrect. It's just a bunch of crates guarding some goodies. At some point, I exit the mall and walk through the fountain area, sloshing water around to the right of a safe point from earlier. I found a revive and a clock shield. Also got a rejuvenator, cure all, and 500G.
A rejuvenator is basically a megalixir type deal.
For the whole party?
Yeah.
Found another big boy, Strybog, and that's Slavic, you're telling me, Chris, right?
Yes.
Blue and yellow.
He's an ice boy.
He does Ice Wave.
He does Arctic Baja Blast.
Arctic Cannon and Glacier Crusher. A big boy pounding is what it gives me.
Yeah.
I R-blade his ass to hell and find Decoder 9 behind him. After that, I went downstairs at the mall and fought unicorns for 3 hours. They keep reviving their buddies, which is annoying but cool because you get more experience. Also, segment address 13 is down here. Also, they give you unicorn horns as loot, and now I will never want for money again.
Oh, didn't notice that.
Cathedral ship cutscene? Anything else in your wandering escapades here?
No, I think we just move on and we clear some rocks and move down into a larger corridor and reach the next cutscene of the video game.
The gang walks along the path. Shion thinks we've arrived at the center. Unfortunately, though, they stumbled upon what they think is a building or some sort of device. The camera pans up from ground level to reveal that it's actually a Zohar, but it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's gross and corrupted, I would say.
It's covered in brown cathedral ship textures. It saves only its grooves are pulsing fluorescent shades of blue and green.
Ew.
Chaos knows what's going on, but plays coy when Shion presses him. He deflects by saying,
"Well, if this is really the center, it's possible that it may be of some importance to the Gnosis. But this, of course, is from our frame of reference, so we could be completely mistaken."
Everybody is just good at something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at making Gnosis just disappear.
That's what this is. But this, of course, is from our frame of reference, so we could be completely mistaken. I might know something, but what if I don't, is what this man is saying. Asshole.
He kind of is.
Yeah. He's like, I have all the knowledge, but maybe I don't. Ziggy, the realist, speculates that if this thing is man-made, it could just be some shit that's here because it was swallowed and sucked up, just like the Elsa. Momo begins to get scared, and Shion comforts her like a real child. Shion then checks Cosmos' GPS for the Elsa's current position, but the location is unknown. She's lost the damn signal.
The Gnosis magnetic and gravitational fields have become unstable near the center. The last known coordinates point to a location on the lower level, 300 meters below our present position.
The gang resolves to travel that distance, and Shion hopes the Elsa isn't in the same condition as all of the wreckage around here. Now, Chris, we return to the adventures of Andrew Trankov.
Yeah.
My dude is still holding onto the wall as he walks. That's never a good sign.
No. I only do that when I'm in it's really dark and I gotta pee.
Yeah, yep. Darkness piss is the same reason to hold on to the wall.
Or I have the flu and I need some Cheerios.
That's right. Cheerios can help cure the flu. That and Sprite. It looks like he's either going in circles or the monolith is just reusing the same assets. Either scenario seems plausible. And we flash back to the Chalice City, Ariadne at the night in the rain. The Silver Zohar, the same one that's lodged in the Cathedral ship, is mounted here. It's here. We then cut to the bridge of that Utic ship. Margulis stands at its center, arms crossed and looking tight as hell. Trankov materializes on the video chat screen. In his zoom background is the Golden Zohar. Trankov tells him the preparations for the Zohar Link experiment are complete.
We'll begin phase 1 in 60 minutes.
We then go to Trankov's location where the Zohar looms large behind him. As the camera pans up, we're reminded that the Zohar symbol at its center is the same symbol on Trankov's present forehead. Trankov takes the unusually bold step of asking Margulis why he is signed into this duty. Margulis replies with typical cult leader shit.
I wanted to test your loyalty to the organization. Nothing more. The citizens will be affected, whether you succeed or not. Do you regret your decision?
Chris, is that some unfair philosophizing?
Unfair by Margulis to put Cherenkov in that position?
To tell him it's really important and say these people are getting fucked up no matter what. Like if he told them this will save them, and but he's out here running a bullshit op.
Yeah, but what does he mean by save?
I mean, we don't actually know that he said save. He just said they will suffer the same fate no matter what happens.
No matter what happens.
So ostensibly he was sent there to save people. It says the citizens will be affected. That could go either way, but I think that means bad things.
I think it does mean bad things, and I think it's like this is a necessary evil, collateral damage type of situations.
Okay.
You know, is that what he's doing? Like
I
we
think
have to do these.
A fucking planet. So.
We have to do the Zohar Link experiment in order to
unlock humanity's true potential.
Yeah, I don't want to get into what Margulis talks about later in the flashback because I think that's more interesting to talk about during that actual scene. But like that is what he's gearing towards. That is what he's gearing towards. Is that he is a Elon Musk type that thinks he has to repopulate the world.
Right.
Only I
alone can slay the demon.
I alone can take humanity to its next natural state of evolution.
Fucking everything's the third impact.
That's how anime works.
Yeah. We always escalate the third impact.
Yes.
Trankov replies with what sounds like a conditioned response.
No. They're of no consequence to me, nor to our organization, or anyone else.
Margulis laughs and tells his well-trained dog that was well said. We then flash to a collection of kaleidoscopic gas. Looks like the composition of the planet Solaris in Soderbergh's remake of Solaris. It's revealed to be the sky at wherever Trankov is. Ground level, he walks toward a ship, giving hand signals to two Utic soldiers positioned at its entrance. The ship takes off, and we cut to Trankov inside the ship, staring down two individuals he left behind. It's the little girl from his visions and the lady defendant, wife, whatever, that he killed. Trankov can't believe this shit, and these are hallucinations, right?
They are hallucinations, or his murder of those people were hallucinations.
Yeah, one of the two, and they're staring at him.
Yeah.
That's funny.
His gasp where he opens his mouth, like, and he's just, his mouth is agape, looks weird because I don't think they necessarily did any additional animation to his eyes.
Yeah.
So it just looks like he's...
dead-eyed staring, mouth wide open.
Dead-eyed staring, mouth wide open, feed me curry,
yeah.
Cherenkov instead of horrified, but it still looks kind of haunting nonetheless.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. We then fade to white as the ship leaves the planet. And this is Ariadne in the process of disappearing, right? Back to the Cathedral ship, Trankov lurches forward but then stops and falls backward as human figures manifest ahead of him. He battle rolls, then begins to run in the other direction. Now we can play the game again. That pulsating noise happens. I head up and enter the door, but nothing happens. The door won't open, and I don't know why. I took 2 different Let's Plays of people just walking up to the door, and it opens in their Let's Plays, but it doesn't for me. Oh no, I'm fucked. I'm super fucked. Everything is fucked now.
You're talking about going into the facility here, right?
The door didn't open for me.
That's weird.
For a really long time, then I loaded up the exact same save, and it worked.
Oh, odd.
So it didn't bug out completely. I thought I was like, Chris, I need your save, bud.
You can read the sign out here, by the way.
Yeah, what's
the sign? It says Federation Ministry of Energy, Space and Time Anomaly Research Laboratory.
Yeah, totally. That can happen.
Sure. We go inside, and there are some lizard-type dudes in here, Eric.
Lizard Man.
Yeah.
Not the one from Soul Calibur.
Lizard Man.
Or are they? Namco.
That is Namco. That's a good point. It's like Yoshimitsu being in Tekken and Soul Calibur.
Yep. They do... I mean, Kazuya's in this game, so...
Yeah, of course, right.
They do poison and bloody stuff.
Yeah, poison's great, but I don't get poisoned because I extracted the snake venom thing from the skill menu, and you should look into doing some of that.
Yeah.
Lizard Man, you lose. Lizard Man was seriously wounded, but the soul still burns.
Inside here, there are more remnants of structures, also a car.
Yeah, there's a car. There's also a missile coming through the ceiling.
Oh, really? Okay, I missed that.
That gives way to an office building or something where I start blowing locks off an elevator shaft.
Oh, you didn't see the pirate display?
No?
You didn't talk to the pirate?
It's entirely possible later in my notes. Why?
No, it's before the next area, I believe. Before we go through...
You found a fucking pirate? Is Cervantes in here, Chris?
Yes.
Cervantes.
It is just a skeleton pirate that you can blow up and get an item from behind it.
Wow, what's the item?
It's just a random item.
Man.
Just a,
Yeah.
tech upgrade, whatever. Nothing. There's something very, very important about this pirate display. That
okay, yeah, no, tell me about it.
Thank you, Cliff Racer, for posting a picture of it because I tried to get this thing to respawn because I wanted to read the sign that was on it.
Yeah.
And by the way, the pirate is holding the chest. It's got a traditional pirate cap on with a Jolly Roger on it.
Corsair hat?
Yeah, he's got a Mario mustache and a eye patch. He's wearing a long pirate coat. The base of this sculpture has a ship wheel on it. Is that what they're called? The ship wheel? The wheel you turn the ship?
steering wheel for the pirate ship.
And next to it, there is a sign that says Hamburger Hook.
Oh, okay. Did you...
And a small emoticon of a hamburger.
Okay, so I'm now... I don't think this is actual pirate. I now think this is like the thing that stands in front of the restaurant to welcome children.
Yes.
Okay, that's Hamburger Hook.
Yes.
A combination of the Hamburglar and Captain Hook.
Yes.
Okay, so mystery solved. That was an easy one to crack, I think. Goldfish Y, still up in the air?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hamburger Hook. Yeah, and at first glance, I thought it said Hamburger Week.
I would love a hamburger week.
Yeah,
hamburger every day of the week? Fuck me, dude.
Yeah, that would fuck me up too much.
No, dude.
A lot of people live like that, but I can't.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people go get McDonald's every damn day, and they're happy, and I wish I was that happy, but I'm not.
That was such a wonderfully succinct way of putting it.
If you just want to feel the happiness of someone who doesn't know any better, right? Like,
well, I mean,
life could be so simple if I could have the hamburger every day, but I choose not to. I have eggs every day.
You do feel a certain way when you eat McDonald's, right?
It's called terrible. I feel terrible after when I'm eating it.
While you're eating it.
It's good.
Yes. Because I typically only eat McDonald's if
it's an emergency.
If it's an emergency or if I'm traveling or something.
Yeah, traveling is an emergency.
Yeah, traveling is always a goddamn emergency. By the way, never use the McDonald's curbside pickup.
The fuck is that?
You go on, you park in the spot and you go on your telephone and you order it and then they bring it to you.
Why the fuck wouldn't... Okay.
Because you do that because you think, oh, the drive-through line looks long. This might make me get my food faster, but it's never faster.
As far as I know, the metrics of people, drive-through is still the number one thing that they're rated on by their corporate superiors.
Probably. Chicken fillet.
I got a magical hat from some of the cubicles in the office. It prevents lost status, which stops you from using an ether.
Yeah, I love going to the cubicle farm, the hellest of hells.
Every day the same dream returns to Chris.
Yeah. Well, there's also a future boardroom up in here.
Yeah.
Curiously, there are also cans of fire and lightning that you can destroy to embellish,
improve, enrich, refresh,
embiggen, and shitify your opponents.
In fuckification. I blew up a vending machine and found a secret room that leads to segment address number 9.
Mm-hmm.
The room overlooks the cubicle office, which is very neat, and inside of it is robot part left arm.
I love robot part left arm. Don't we have right arm already?
I do. Do you have left arm? Did you do this?
Yeah, I did this.
Good.
Yeah.
Finally, I go back downstairs and head down that yellow glass elevator. It takes us to a big circular room like a missile silo.
Yeah, we had to I don't know if we mentioned this, but we had to blow up all the elevator security things to allow the elevator to come down to do it.
Yeah, it's blow the locks off the sides at an escalating series of floors. I skipped that in my notes.
But yeah, underneath of this thing it kind of looks like a Death Star interior. There's like a catwalk type of situation.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan Kenobi is here to disable the tractor beam or whatever.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lizard men down here, and I just love how they poison everyone.
It's great.
These boys are just doing laps.
Poison is a great mechanic in video games.
I love it every single time it happens. At the bottom, I approach the locked door that says locked. And it's near a control panel that also says locked.
I found this strangely funny.
Just that locked.
Then you just press the button and it's not locked.
It rotates the wheel and then everything opens and it's fine. It's like, did you all design the puzzle? No, just put a button.
There is like a wheel that it turns to form the door, and it will say locked, and when you unlock it, it just says Zohar.
Right, just like the door in your basement that says that goes to the toilet.
Yes.
Cathedral ship, cutscene. The gang walks through a door and finds a golden Zohar on the other end. Shion recognizes it. Cosmos thinks they need to get out of here, which, listen to the robot, please. Shion commands Cosmos to wait, warning her not to go off on her own. Shion doesn't remember programming Cosmos that way. Chris, is Shion a bad programmer or in denial that someone else has programmed some shit into Cosmos?
I think the latter, because we get some commentary on that a little bit later.
For like 10 seconds, Cosmos then stares up at the Zohar in admiration, like I stare at the shattered glass version of Thundercracker. Look it up. Shion can't figure out what the Zohar is doing here, and honestly, neither can I. What do you think it's doing here, Chris? Experiments? This is what happens when you leave a Zohar in a place too long, as it disappears planets? Is this what, like, Trankov dropped off on Ariadne and then just got the fuck out of there?
No, I think this is the Waglinde one.
Oh, okay.
It's got the same symbol, I believe.
Okay, so Shion is now realizing the Waglinde one is here. I see it. Okay.
Actually, Cosmos will recognize that in just a moment.
She all but confirms that it's the same Zohar emulator that was on the Waglinde. We then talk about what an emulator is, confirming that it is Xenosaga for your PC.
Yes, Nesticle.
Shion, what a wonderful icon. It had hair.
Yeah.
Shion, the optimistic dumbass, asks Cosmos, the murder robot, who constantly broadcasts the fact that she has ulterior motives, how she knows any of this, as Shion has never stored any information like that in her databank. Then a haggard-looking Trankov, lugging himself up a staircase, comes out of nowhere and says,
You're the creator of that thing. And yet, you didn't even know about that?
My dude is hanging onto the railing for dear life, and a concerned Shion rushes to his aid and tells him we all need to escape.
They did a really good job of making Cherenkov look haggard without changing anything about his character model.
Yeah,
his body language.
I think you can just, like, maybe his voice acting is out of breath or something like that. Like, the intangibles are selling his current state. Anxiety plays, and my dude starts to turn translucent, flashing in and out of reality. Chris, is he going to the Gnosis realm, or is this what happens when you're exposed to too much Hilbert effect and jet fuel? Can jet fuel melt still beams? I think we already speculated on why he's going Gnosis translucent. Is he becoming Gnosis or becoming translucent? I guess we'll know that in a second.
Yeah, he's going to the other realm and bringing back Gnosis with him in his body or something.
Yeah.
Well, based on some things that we learn a little bit later, it is possible, if not probable, that when you make contact with a Gnosis, they can occupy your body and use your body as a means to come into the physical realm.
I'm a Gnosis simulator. A host for the spirit of Gnosis.
I think more of a host than an emulator here, yes.
Shion, becoming concerned at a man who keeps coming up with new ways to freak people out, gets in the oh my word pose. Trankov fixates on the word escape. He can't imagine anyone would survive through something like this, and quite frankly, neither can I.
Mm-hmm.
Holding on to the next hand railing, it becomes Trankov confession time.
That's right. I was the one behind the disappearance of the planet Ariadne. All that mattered was the recovery of the emulator. That was the reason behind the deployment of Vector and the military. They were really only pawns. But in spite of all that...
And he cuts himself off, shocked at what stands before him. He starts swatting around invisible flies.
Yeah.
Shion looks at Trankov with concern, and Cosmos stares at him with fascination. Trankov screams for them to go away, to not come near him. He screams that they were the ones who rejected him, and he wonders why they're bothering him now. So are these the lawyer things that rejected him? Is this his Margulis buddies? Is this his wife clone? Is like, what rejection is he experienced? Or did he try to be friends with Gnosis and they rejected him, but they're coming for him now? Who is coming? Who has rejected him?
Who is coming and who's rejecting?
Show me his come.
I think everybody has rejected him, right?
Yeah. No, well, I mean, they tried to be his friend on the Elsa. He isolated himself. It's the only life he knows.
I think that in general, Cherenkov has been rejected by everyone that he has known, maybe up until this point, and maybe with the exception of Margulis as well. I do think that all of his past lives are kind of colliding at this one point.
Spoilers for our anime series.
Anime.
It is very funny that he dies in the second episode.
It is funny that he dies in the second episode, but it is also sort of emblematic that you can remove I think, him from the story and still have the story, but perhaps have less flavor about the world.
Right. You can take out this entire arc, and I think the story still works. Move some shit around.
Which makes it unfortunate, and maybe this would have hit a little bit better if this was a party member. Yeah. A person that was presented in the manual and the marketing and everything as a fully playable party member.
Did that ever happen after Eris? Like, because that didn't go over very well?
It's a big risk. I mean, because especially when you think about party balance and game mechanics and stuff like that.
You fully get out a character, you give them 4 limit breaks, or 7 limit breaks.
And especially in a story that is this tight and that deals with the exception of Chaos, deals pretty intimately with every character that's in the game. Thus far.
Yeah, so far. There's some kind of purple energy ball plasma thing swirling around the air, and it rams into Trankov's head. Ziggy looks on with satisfaction, doing a weird head nod thing. What the fuck was that, Ziggy? Music Omega plays, and more purple energy balls start firing out of the towering golden Zohar emulator. Cosmos spits out important data.
All photon, lepton, hadron, and graviton scans read negative.
Shion wonders what it is they're seeing as purple plasma continues to pound itself into Trankov. My dude then starts to levitate in a Jesus pose, albeit with his forearms draping downward at the elbows.
Yeah, it is some very Ascension-like imagery, I think, here.
He's being lifted almost by, like, they're holding up whatever the part of the arm this is called, bicep.
Yeah, I wasn't completely activated here, but I was close.
Oh, as far as your schoolboy imagery?
Yeah.
The pose is similar, with those edges jutting out of the side of the Zohar and where Trankov's elbows are. So he, like, you know how the Zohar has the edges that kind of jut out a little bit with elbows?
Yeah.
He's kind of in, like, that's a Zohar pose.
Oh, okay, cool.
Chris, on average, how many crucifixions does a normal science fiction anime protagonist witness?
I would say 0.25.
Okay,
on average.
Accounts for most averages.
Yeah,
right.
I think. Can I tell you a crucifixion story real quick?
I would love to hear one. Is it about the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Yes. So my kids are in Catholic school now, and we're not. They don't know anything about anything.
It's just cool lore for them.
Yeah.
All of it's in the same brain space as Dragon Ball. Go ahead.
One of my kids asked me about the
man up there,
the crucifix, and what it represents, and I explained the crucifixion.
Jesus.
In children terms, exactly, and that's why people celebrate Easter. Because 3 days after Christ was crucified, Christians believe that at that point in time, Jesus came back to life. And my kid looked at me and he goes, "That's not possible."
Right, yeah, that's a stumbling block for many people. It's like, well, that's faith, son.
And I thought that was interesting as compared to my background where that was a given.
Oh, yeah, that's something I assumed to be true up until I was an adult.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. You're doing a good job, Chris.
I guess.
Teach them that it's lore and not fucking something to be ashamed of.
What is a man if not a miserable pile of hypocrisy?
Yeah, that's a good point. An ethereal whoosh then transforms Trankov into a Gnosis. Momo says it's a Gnosis, and in this moment, Ziggy flashes to someone standing in front of a phantom version of this Gnosis.
It's the same. Just like that day.
It's the same. Just like that day, Ziggy says. And it looks like Ziggy has seen some shit too. Chris, do you know who that was? This phantom figure in front of a Gnosis.
No, it looks like a cloaked figure, and in the background there is some sort of like biblically accurate angel holding a sword or something.
Yeah.
Could it be Joachim Mizrahi? Could it be Jesus Christ? I don't know.
It's not revealed now, but in later games, I think this is some more, you know how they put Telos on a sign?
Yeah.
Chris, that is Eric Weber, the antagonist of Xenosaga mobile spinoff Pied Piper. In future games, we'll know him as Voyager, aka the Black Testament. Preceded that this early, and he doesn't really appear and do much shit until Xenosaga 3 and the end of 2.
Weird.
Trankov's Gnosis hisses, then splats down to the platform in front of our heroes. All are accounted for, but only 3 will battle. Battle music plays. Boss fight.
Gargoyle.
And Odogog.
Odogog.
×2.
Would you like to... I mean, everybody knows what a gargoyle is, right? From Disney afternoon cartoons.
Yeah, it had most of the next-gen cast in it.
Yeah. Do you want to know what an Odogog is?
I would love to know what that is.
Okay, there's one theory out here. I found it on a website called GameFAQs.com.
Yep, good website. All truth.
2 years ago, a poster named Scyther, the Pokemon.
Second Scyther reference in this episode.
I know, it's weird. So it seems we haven't found a definitive meaning or translation for Odogog.
Somebody dropping their drink on a keyboard.
What?
You just drop. It's like when you hit a bunch of letters at the same time.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Oh, okay. And seeing as almost all gnosis share a name with a mythical creature, we would assume that the Otagogues would share this convention. Alas, it seems that they do not, and we can only theorize as to why they aren't named after a mythical creature. I did some digging into the etymology of the name, and here's what I found.
Okay.
Udo. That's
Udo.
Udo. Not that Udo.
Not that Udo? Okay.
Oudo apparently can be translated from Japanese to mean Hades, hell, underworld, world of the dead, etc.
Jesus, is that Odo from fucking Deep Space Nine?
I don't think so. It's got an extra U in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which seems to work based on the name of the attack it uses, Hell's Flashed. Gogue, G-O-G-U-E, is a suffix that can mean leader or bringer. So, according to these definitions, we can assume Otagogue means something like Hellbringer, which is quite a fitting name for those little hellions, don't you think?
Hell yeah, that's good.
So thank you, Scyther, 2 years ago from GameFAQs.com. Gargoyle.
Shion says, Commander, that can't be you. Trankov Gargoyle looks like someone chopped and screwed a remixed liquor from Resident Evil 2, which at least that's different from the fish folks we've seen so far. Blue brain, blue shoulder pads, purple feet, dull gold pectorials, muscle arms. My guy also said of blue wings. Is this too much? Is this the Xenosaga version of the Chimera?
I think you got it. Yeah, you nailed it pretty good. The only thing I would add is that its front arms look like reverse horse legs.
Yeah,
a little bit.
With the way they bend and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Chimera and influence.
Nubby tube-like wings that probably can't fly.
Yeah, nub wings.
Yeah.
Ornamental wings.
Pretty tough battle, though, right?
Yeah. Obsidian claw.
I was a winner on my first try. I was very happy with myself, but it was pretty tough because you have to do a fair bit of keeping dudes alive here.
Shion's revive spell, you better have that earned at this point.
I don't think I have earned that, but I did have a lot of her Medica All and all that kind of stuff, so I was able to cast that a lot.
I transferred her Medica All to every character.
I haven't done any of that transfer stuff yet, but I do now understand how to do it, though, which is part of the...
It's kind of one of those things, they should have tutorialized that a bit more.
Each time you kill one of those little blobs, the guy powers up after losing his servant.
It's funny, those Ordagogs, they have an attack called Hell's Flash, which fits in with your...
Yeah, we said that.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a different Hell-related thing or if Hell's Flash was an accessory to that.
Yeah, the Scyther said that, said as much. The Gargoyle will start doing Hell's Lance after a while and do a pretty massive damage to an individual character.
Did you fight it with Chaos's Heaven's Wrath? Hell attacks versus Heaven attacks?
I did.
It does 420 damage.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chaos's attacks are Heaven's Wrath, Angel Wings, and...
Winter Seal. Tell us more anyway, dude. 3,000 experience. Everyone is now level 21. Nice.
Good. Cutscene.
After the battle, the gargoyle growls, and we ethereally whoosh to another cutscene. Music. The Beach of Nothingness plays.
Oh, God.
Margulis and Trankov are on the bridge of a boat, an airship, fucking something, overlooking a vast body of water. Chris, do you like villain propaganda speeches?
Oh, yeah. Villain propaganda speeches are some of the most informative types of monologuing in all of video games, right?
Yeah. It's very intense.
And they can often be bad because usually it's just like,
one man's ideology.
I'm going to destroy the world.
A man's fucked belief system.
But we get some pretty good stuff here, I think.
Behold the light that spreads before your eyes. This light once symbolized civilization, the very will of the human race. But what can be gleaned from the light we see today? The people of this world have cast away their will to create, drowning themselves instead in an endless cycle of consumption. What you see now is the deceitful light cast by their stagnant eyes.
And important to note here that Shion is sort of an empathic ride-along viewer of this scene.
Yeah,
she's able to see this here now.
Is Margulis anti-capitalist?
Margulis is anti-consumption. I don't know if that makes them anti-capitalist or not.
Capitalism demands consumption.
What is the stupid phrase? There is no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess so. I mean,
he's just pissed off that people aren't out there doing shit anymore, and they're just looking at their screens.
What does he want them to be doing? Does he want them to be philosophizing all the time, or does he want them to be all working towards the evolution of mankind? Is his end goal to completely eradicate all the people and start all over, or is it something different? I don't know.
He could be like a my gene to the best type guy. Surely my offspring will be invested in not in the pursuit of arts, but only pursue STEM degrees.
All right, I think he might actually be the opposite.
Really?
Where we should all be studying the humanities and fucking in bathhouses together like the Greeks.
It's possible.
Yeah,
Greeks had it right with their bathhouse fucking.
All right, next.
Non-gender specific. Shion can apparently see this because she live reacts to it, recognizing Trankov but wondering who's with him. Margulis continues to radicalize Trankov.
The people you've encountered in your lifetime are not people at all.
Which that's everyone you know is stupid, is what he just said.
They are less than human, mere sacks of flesh and bone. Only upon the realization of self-will can a person truly be called a man.
Can we say that the phrase "only upon the realization of self-will" is a way of just saying will to power without saying will to power?
You just remixed will to power.
Okay.
It's like, these guys aren't woke.
Yeah.
You chose to reject the false light, refused to succumb to their lies. That's why you never faltered, even after all the personality reconditioning.
So villainy is easy once you dehumanize your opponents, and he also challenges his manhood, saying, you're not a real man unless... And he also reframes Trankov's weaknesses as strengths, saying he never faltered despite all the reconditioning.
His will to power existed despite all the fuckery that he's been experienced.
Like he was born to fucking kill people, I guess, and he just continued to do that even after his personality was remixed. So Margulis sues this man's ego to create the type of monster that he wants. And my question is, like, Margulis has the idea of what an ideal person should be, and Trankov isn't that. It's an instrument to create it. Is Margulis a hypocrite? Because he's using like tools of the damned to carve the perfect society, and you can't do that because then it makes you like a fucked creator.
I think he is a hypocrite. In Margulis' mind, I don't think that disqualifies him from the role that he has taken on.
Okay. Yeah,
because I think that in order to do anything like this, you have to live with some degree of hypocrisy or contradictions.
Yeah.
Miserable piles of contradictions.
Like I can say I'm a champion of environmental rights, yet I drove a car here.
Yes.
No ethical consumption, Chris.
Yes, I could say I'm going to fire the Zeus cannon on the world.
It's for the greater good.
For the greater good, but also send my children to Catholic school.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can do it. Mm-hmm. They'll build their own Zeus cannon in art class.
Great.
Xion learns that this is where Trankov underwent personality reconditioning. Margulis continues Trankov's radicalization process.
Long ago, man was forced to leave behind his homeland. This was brought about by the masses who extinguished the very light that drove their will. So how about it, Trankov? Let us rekindle the torch, so that human consciousness may once again be resurrected. For our sake, and that of our God.
Lowercase God.
Is that our first God mention?
I think so.
Like a presence beyond the Gnosis? And like, so Margulis is pissed that we had to leave Earth. And then the further we got from Earth, the further we strayed from God's light. And only by going back to Earth, which is lost, I think, according to lore, can we rediscover God's light. So is he trying to assemble Zohars to get to the path back to Earth to realize true humanity in our place of...
I don't know necessarily about the Lost Jerusalem part of this, but that's what he's trying to do.
Because that's where God lives too, right? That's where man created God,
God
where
lives
God
on
created
Earth.
man.
The Ark of the Covenant.
One of the two, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. This is something that is giving me some whiffs. Can I have some whiffs?
Yeah, whiff it up, dude.
We haven't had a whiff in a while.
No, whiff.
He's talking about this. I will press... I'll press the button.
Yep.
Margulis is talking about a depraved, soulless society that needs to be reset.
Yeah. One of those guys, yep.
He is doing the resetting here.
Yeah.
Not Miang, who was doing the resetting in the Xenogear storyline as an agent of Deus. I'm getting a whiff, not only because of that, but because this whole scene is set with Cherenkov and Margulis in, I don't know, are they in a ship? Or are they in a tower? But they're looking down at a planet, and you see all the lights, and it reminds me of the bridge in Zeboim. And Zeboim is also like considered a society gone wrong that needed to be reset.
Right.
And that's what I think, what did Miang blow up some shit?
Yeah, detonation, buried it.
I don't know. And that entire sort of structure of villainy, so to speak, is what's giving me a bit of a whiff of Xenogears.
Villain structures.
Yeah. 18.
It gets weirder then as Trankov's face is superimposed over Xion's face, just as Xion senses happiness and wonders if she's feeling that or if she was experiencing it through the surrogate Trankov memory hole. Xion wonders what Trankov was searching for, and Trankov then negative flashes through images of his time in our video game as Xenosaga. That takes us to the actual Beach of Nothingness.
Yes, I love Beaches of Nothingness. You have to have Like, whenever you occupy somebody else's subconscious,
Yeah.
it is always on a beach.
You need a fucked beach to go to.
Yes. Can you think of any good fucked beaches right now? I can only think of two.
Go, give me your two first.
I was going to say the beach at the end of Evangelion.
Okay, that's a good
Which is
fucked
not a
beach.
subconscious beach, but I think that is similar. And the beach in Final Fantasy VIII.
Which beach?
At the orphanage.
Okay, orphan. I was thinking you
Yeah.
meant Dole Beach for a second, which is fucked for a different way.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite fucked beach is in the HBO series Barry. And at the end of season 3 or something, Barry has to go there and oops, everybody he's killed is there at the fucked beach waiting for him.
Yeah, that sounds like yeah.
And it's desaturated just like this is. But it's not quite black and white. Waves crash in the background. Trankov is sitting down, staring out into the sea, and Shion is staring behind him. Both characters are still in their work clothes. I'm sorry, I really could have used some wardrobe changes in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's Trankov's turn to go on one as music. The Girl Who Closed Her Heart plays.
The Girl Who Stole the Stars.
It rhymes.
Speaking of that, John Doe has big Chrono Cross Time Beach vibes from this beach as well.
That was so colorful, though.
Yeah.
I never really existed at all. 36 years ago, the year after the Zohar incident, which led up to the Milshin conflict, I was brought into this world as a weapon of warfare. It happened all the time back then. Killing was our whole reason for existence. The fortunate ones were those who could adapt to that way of life. Even luckier were those who died on the battlefield. But I was never granted that opportunity. Before I could find some significance to my own life, the war ended. And I was left behind while the world went on.
So he says Zohar incident there, not Zohar. Is that a mistype?
Well, actually, Eric, let's look it up in the glossary.
Okay, what is the
while we're at it.
Zohar incident? For fuck's sake.
Zohar incident. The incident that triggered a massive war within the Federation, which culminated in the Milshin conflict. Although details pertaining to this incident are unknown, it was around this time that Cherenkov was born as a super soldier, parentheses, biological weapon.
Another Antifa super soldier.
Finally. Although I think he is more of just a
Fa super soldier.
Fascist super soldier, yes.
So it's funny that he was born to be a super soldier, but was searching for meaning beyond that and didn't find it in time before his service ended.
That is true. That is true. But his will to power, in Margulis's interpretation, was able to sort of transcend all of the personality stuff they did to him.
Word.
We
get some still image flashbacks of that Milshin War, and he continues.
I tried to adapt. But the language I spoke was so different from the rest of the world. I thought the entire world had rejected me. But the commander, it felt like he really needed me. I saw a future for myself in the commander. Or I wanted to, at least.
Chris, this is the importance of joining clubs with others and shared common interests and hobbies to further develop those hobbies. Margulis made him feel like he belonged. Was Margulis, getting through to him, was that pure villain charisma or just cult leader magic?
Oh, I think it was mostly villain charisma. I think Margulis is not a cult leader, per se. When I think of a cult leader, I think that there is some conscious level on the cult leader's side of...
You can't accidentally be a cult leader? If you know you're manipulating?
No, I think cult leaders understand that they're manipulating somebody in bad faith.
Okay.
Whereas I believe that Margulis is acting, in his mind, in good faith.
Yes. No, I agree with that. Trankov continues.
But I had to rely on the drugs to communicate with the rest of the world. It was because I hadn't changed. After everything that happened, I hadn't changed at all. Now I finally understand. The world didn't reject me. I rejected the world.
So that means, he didn't want to be a killing machine, but his destiny was to be a killing machine. And even the drugs couldn't get that out of him because he continued to kill like a machine.
Yes.
Okay. He continues.
Shion, I like it here. I'm the only living thing that exists in this place. There's nothing else. No anger, no sadness, no happiness. Not even a future. The only thing that's here is me. And that'll eventually fade away. It feels good. This is exactly what I've been searching for all this time. Xion, you'll eventually find yourself here too. I'm sure of it. It won't be much longer. I know. I can tell.
Is he saying that because Xion at some point is going to die, or Xion is at some point going to manifest a Gnosis thing?
I think both, because Xion has also been Gnosis touched. She's the only person we know that has done that and survived through it. And this also makes Xion paranoid for either the rest of the game or the rest of the anime. I can't remember which is which at this
Games,
point.
anime, what's the difference?
He says, I'm sure of it. It won't be much longer. But Trankov is also wrong about a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he's necessarily a reliable indicator. And plus, like, Xion hasn't failed the world and her destiny like he has. He could not escape his destiny. His will could not overpower his destiny no matter how hard he tried. He kept falling back into someone else's scenario for him.
So was ultimately this entire episode with Andrew Cherenkov a tool to we've got the world building part, we've got exposition on Modulus, but is this mostly a tool to develop Xion?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, you could, as the main character, ostensibly, everything is a tool to develop Xion, really. Like, everyone plays into her story. She rarely plays into somebody else's story.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah, but I think this is more explicit because he is out at, like, the third point of the game.
And I think also kind of interestingly, like, thematically, we've had an android, a cyborg, a Regalian, and a fucked up gene haver like Cherenkov, like a super soldier type created guy. I'll reemphasize this. When you're starting to ask questions about, are these people worthwhile? Are these people?
Yeah.
Then when you've got like 5 different versions of them, the answer has got to be yes. Like, the game's perspective has got to be yes, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to come out and say every child born through artificial insemination is a soulless husk, right? Like, the game's not going to say that. The game's going to say these people have worth. And I don't know if that's like the main or position of the game. I don't think it is, but it is highly concerned with those things.
Yeah.
I think.
It makes me flash back to the Parasite Eve book that I read, where I learned that receiving donated organs in Japan has a stigma to it that doesn't necessarily exist here. And I wonder if there's like an artificial insemination stigma with shit like that.
I think there is in some like sects, S-E-C-T,
yeah.
Some sects of like weird Christianity.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Oh, no, definitely. Yeah, they definitely want to get rid of that.
Yeah.
That's not, I would say that's popular Christianity.
I mean, I don't think that's the case in the majority of the followers of Christianity, but I think there are some people who have the belief that like that would tell me that my children have no souls.
Right, because they weren't conceived naturally.
If you tell me my children have no souls, I'll break your fucking face.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't think anyone has a soul, so if you want to...
Well, okay, if you otherize my children because they were born through unnatural means, I will fucking break your face.
I see, yes. That is a perfectly reasonable reaction.
Yes.
Allegedly, parody account in Minecraft. We're just joking around.
Apparently, I also had another take here. My dude Trankov found peace, but is this really dissimilar from a casual existential crisis? Isn't the solution to realizing the world will go on without you? Isn't like... When you realize that, like, the world will still happen after you die, isn't this the conclusion you get to? Like, he's sad about it, but I don't think it's a cynical take to realize while you may have influenced people, your existence didn't change the world.
And not only that, but also he doesn't have to get up for work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he's okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I can just stay here and fade away rather than go to my goddamn job.
Yeah. Even before we knew all the super soldier life recycling acting stuff.
He's a fucking mess.
About him, he was deep in the shit.
Yeah.
In terms of what he was expected to deliver for his job, like versus the reality of where he was.
His deliverables, when he needed to have.
His deliverables were not going to be on time.
Now we're back to reality, I fucking guess. The gargoyle thrashes and separates into light particles. Music sorrow plays, and Xion starts crying, and Momo rushes to comfort her. The daughter now comforts the mother. Xion asks where Trankov is, apparently believing the Beach of Nothingness was a real space. Nobody else does shit, but Chaos offers his hand for Xion to cry on. She asks him what happened. Where is he? What have we done? Tell me. Momo asks Ziggy what the deal is, and my dude no-sells it, but then hesitates and tells Momo it's nothing she needs to worry about. Chris, do kids buy that line? Or do they ask further inquiries?
Sometimes it works.
Sometimes they'll just lose interest and wander, and you're like, please stop asking me questions about this.
Yeah. The other day, my kid asked me what a motherfucker was.
Okay.
Because he heard another kid say it.
All right.
He knew it was a bad word.
Yep. You don't need to worry about it.
And I said, it's just an awful thing to say.
Yep.
That's all I said.
There you go. What a horrible thing to say. How about you don't say that?
Yeah.
Around me or a teacher. Shion seeks a reality verification from Chaos and whether or not they didn't just obliterate his fucking ass. Trankov, I mean. Chaos two-hand shoulder grabs Shion and tells her,
Shion, the truth isn't always a pleasant thing to know.
You could also say that instead of don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I thought Shion was feeling guilt, but now I think it's given way to fear as she asks Chaos if they're all going to end up like Trankov.
We're still here, and none of us have turned into Gnosis.
Chaos again says nothing.
Yep. He's like,
even though he knows, he says nothing.
But it's also a good question. Why the shit did Trankov turn into a Gnosis? Absence of personality, drug abuse, he committed too many sins, shit happens, who knows? And the Gnosis touched him before Chaos rescued him. Chaos helps Shion up, and then Cosmos rolls in, observes the pulsing Zohar, and tells the gang,
The connection between the phenomenon boundaries is dissipating. If this continues, this spatial location will disappear. We are in danger.
Ziggy says it isn't good, and then everybody starts to float. Chris, do you ever fear that your spatial location will disappear?
My spatial, like my phenomenal, what's called the phenomenon boundaries?
Yeah, do you think that's going to happen to you?
No, I don't ever worry about that.
I don't either worry about it either. I'm glad there's some shit that I don't worry about. How about that?
Good.
Ziggy says it isn't good, and then everybody starts to float, which really isn't good.
This isn't good.
I can't do it. No good.
An ethereal whoosh dissolves the physical plane, and then the Elsa, with spotlight shining, appears and moves through the empty, foggy space. Matthews yells,
Hey! Miss Vector! You still alive?
Then Alan gets on the mic, and everybody gets sad.
Chief! Are you alright?
Shion acknowledges the captain and Alan, and the whole fucking family floats through visible space. The cargo bay opens, and it fades to black. End scene, end podcast.
End podcast. Let's go to the RealNet.
Initializing RealNet.
Hello, RealNet. Welcome to the podcast. Cherenkov. Cliff Racer says that Cherenkov is in a UTIC uniform during the war flashback, which has implications about who created him.
That's a good point. Was it all like a UTIC deep plot?
Dill 6 Row says Wacky Workbench is a great track on the Sonic CD soundtrack.
But which one?
I can't.
Chris, there are two Sonic CD soundtrack, one for the Japanese version, one for the American version. I think they're both good, but they're very different.
Yeah.
Wacky Workbench music plays.
Cool. John Doe says Cherenkov insisting that his subordinates survive or his sacrifice will be meaningless actually kind of ties into his internalized need to leave literally any impression on the universe.
That's a great observation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do people carve things into trees or concrete, right?
Why do people draw dicks on the inside of a bathroom wall?
That's just fun. My favorite thing about dick graffiti is it's existed as long as civilization has. People have just been drawing like massive dicks on everything.
That's true. John Doe says, regardless of what is actually happening, based on earlier scenes, it's heavily implied that Cherenkov is seeing the purple ghost things attacking him as all the people that he murdered. Because the last time we see him running around from the approaching images of them coming out of him out of the darkness.
So it's the Sorrow in Metal Gear Solid 3?
Yeah.
That river? Before Metal Gear Solid 3, obviously. Although I'm sure that meeting your ghost is a trope in, the people that you've killed. But fuck it, that's what the Beach and the Barry did. Bill Hader confirms Xenosaga like her.
Monsieur Shock says, I remember being surprised that Cherenkov was getting all this focus when I first played the game as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't remember him getting this much focus.
I don't either. It's not like he was in the marketing materials or anything.
I remember him being a boss, but I did not remember him being so deeply explored. John Doe says, huge missed opportunity from a ludonarrative perspective here as well, since if we literally ever had seen or played as Cherenkov in battle before, they could have made his in-game fighting style merely gargoyles. Monsieur Shock says, Margulis feels like a kind of fascist, going by the Umberto Eco definition. Have you ever read any Umberto Eco?
I've not.
Neither have I. Eric Van Eyne says, Margulis strikes me as a Christo-fascist without the Christ or chaos.
Seems necessary.
Cliff Racer says, Margulis is very much how to make Nietzsche compatible with fascism.
Yeah, there you go. You just blend, you find a guy to filter it through.
Yeah, John Doe points out Shion is desperately course-correcting in this scene after the gargoyle where she realizes that she's the only person who saw that weird fucking beach.
Yeah.
Which is a good call-out because she's very disoriented when she comes back to reality, and At first, I thought she was having a strong emotional reaction to losing Cherenkov, who she didn't really have a relationship for, but I think it's more of
that scene in the...
I was just in the beach of nothingness.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she did have some interaction with him, and she did have some sort of
He served him dinner. She looked out
empathy,
for him.
yeah.
Also, the other place that she flashed out to, that fucked graveyard with the little girl, like Chaos was there one time.
That's true. Monsieur Shock says Umberto Eco wrote a very big essay on what he called fascism. Very influential. Read it, you guys. Anyway, thank you, RealNet, for joining us on this fine Sunday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we will see you on the next episode of Retrograde Amnesia. This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on October 22nd, 2023. You can reach us by email at podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com. You can find us on Cohost at cohost.org/retroam, I think. We're on YouTube, too, if you want to leave us comments there. You can leave comments on Spotify now. So you can do that. Or you can join us at patreon.com/retroam and get bonus episodes, early access to the weekly show, and miniseries on other video games like Parasite Eve. Twitter's bad. Thanks, Mark Shepard, for the intro music.
You're welcome, Chris.
Thank you to WorldSend for the podcast artwork. Eric, until next time.
Yes, we will kill God.
And now you may go back to the beach of nothingness.
Milk that I froth, and it turns into something that's pretty good.
Froth the milk, big boy.
Been frothing all kinds. I tried to froth Mountain Dew. That didn't work.
Froth me up the milk,
man.
Guys.
Psychonauts level. Like, for example, I went to work for 8 hours today, then I came here, then I'm going running after this, then I'm going to spend an hour and a half making salt and pepper tofu. It's going to be great.
Sounds like a nice Sunday
afternoon. It's going to be a wonderful afternoon, yeah.
I was at a fighting tournament all day.
Actual fighting, not fighting game.
Yeah, the
children were battling.
The children were battling. Our friend Kyle was also battling.
Cool.
I didn't see him after the sparring. I don't know how he did in sparring, but he was doing good too. His children were battling too.
Chris, be honest. What would you rather do? Watch your kids fight people or play Doomland?
I'd rather play Doomland.
That's right. That's good. That's an honest answer from Dad.
Yeah, I really like going to my kids' cross country races and stuff, but those don't take as long, Eric.
No, they don't.
I was not at the Kentucky International Convention Center from...
how long were you there? Can I guess how long you were there?
Yeah.
You were there for 3.5 hours.
No, Eric, I was not there for 3.5 hours.
Longer or shorter?
Longer.
You were there for 6 hours.
I got there at 10:30, and we left at probably 5:30.
Fuck that. That's a work day.
Yeah.
That's a Saturday evisceration. Can't do shit before or after. The sacrifices people make for their children.
I even brought... I thought that I was gonna drop him off, and he was gonna go be with his people.
Yeah.
And I was gonna sit there until it started, but so I brought some books and stuff, and that was not the case. I had to be responsible for my child until it started, and then it took forever to fucking do it. And
8 hours is a long time to give.
There was a Taekwondo school there that was from Georgia, and their shit was insane. Like, they had boards that had those little snapper popper things that you
snapper poppers
you throw it at the 4th of July at the ground. They look
right. They blow up.
They were inside the boards, so
That's
when the kids
cool.
broke the boards, they would explode.
That's good. Did he blow any fingers off from doing that, or what?
No, these were the ones that were using those were like the older kids that could do like I'm talking about like teenagers
karate
that could do like multiple like Tekken moves in the air and stuff like that. It was wild.
Eddie Gordo.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fine. I was there all day, and I just took, Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast.
Now quiz.
But we talked about where he had that quick flash to the weird guy.
Yeah, it was earlier. I think it was earlier.
I have it here for some reason.
It's entirely possible.
But no one corrected us on that, so I think it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Seen so far.
Yeah, I've got... I gotta scroll back down here, sorry.
Blue brain, blue shoulder pad.
Nothing...
That gives way to an office building where I start...
Oh, hold on, sorry.
All right.
There's something very, very important about... Chaos's attacks are Heaven's Wrath, Angel Wings, and...
Lunar Seal.
And Heaven's Wrath...
Fake, now what are some Chaos attacks?
Lunar Seal, that's the other one.
Yeah.
Don't need the fake net. Sorry, fake net.
So Shion and then Trank. I mean, like, the optional mini bosses here. You fight that fucking thing?
I did. Why did I not write it down? Maybe get my things out of order. Hold on a second. Yeah, anyway. Yes, Eric, I fought that thing. He looks...
I've been in... Do they have to go to church once a week?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been in St. Edward's Church a year ago for a fucking funeral. I forget if they had, like, white Jesus or surfer Jesus or cut hair Jesus up there at this point.
I think it's just a traditional white Jesus.
Regular Jesus. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Like, a presence beyond the Gnosis. And, like, so Trankov... I'm sorry, Margulis...
Playtime's over! Playtime's over! Playtime's over!